Namaste. So we're gonna go into lessons of the Bhagavad-gita from chapter 2. So first of all, I pay my respects to my spiritual teacher. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Shrimate Siddhasvaripananda Paramahamsa Iti Namine. And I also pay my respects to all of you. So before we begin, we just have a short chant, 5 minutes or so. So we're just going to be chanting Gopala and Govinda. So you can just sing along with me. So, we're going to be reading from chapter 2 of Bhagavad-gita As It Is by Bhakti-vedanta Swami Prabhupada, our dear grandfather spiritual master. So as you can remember from chapter 1, Arjuna, the great warrior, one thing to understand about Arjuna, that he was a warrior, a formidable warrior. He was born to be a warrior. He's been trained his whole life to be a warrior. He's engaged in many battles. He's famous all over the world as a great warrior, and he's honored as a warrior. So this is what he does. You know, he's a warrior. And Krishna desired this battle to take place, this war to take place, to unburden the world of very demoniac kings that were in charge. So Krishna wanted this war to take place. Arjuna is the perfect warrior. So Krishna's desire was Arjuna to lead this fight on his side. So Arjuna is there. This is explained in the first chapter. He wants to see who's on the other side, you know. So Krishna is the charioteer of Arjuna. So he takes Arjuna down to the middle of the two armies, so Arjuna can see who's there. And there he sees many people that he knows on the other side, on the enemy side. Yeah, he sees relatives, he sees friends, he sees teachers, etc. And this is a big problem for Arjuna. Not only is Arjuna a great warrior and very brave and strong and heroic, but he's also very soft-hearted and gentle because he's a devotee of Krishna. So when he sees these people that he knows, he's like, whoa, you know, I don't want to fight against these people. You know, I have relationships with them, I know them, you know. So in chapter 1, Arjuna comes up with different excuses why he shouldn't fight and all this. But as we know, this is Krishna's plan. Krishna wants this to happen. These people have taken that side of the demoniac king Duryodhana, and you know, this is going to happen. The war is going to happen, and he wants Arjuna to be part of it. But Arjuna says no, can't do it. You know, I can't do it. And he has all, as I said, all these different arguments why, you know, and so on. So I think one of the last texts we read in chapter 1 in the previous lesson was that Arjuna was saying that his mind was basically his mind was driving him mad. He didn't know what to do, you know. It was like it was whirling around, like, wow, you know. And you know, we never probably, I should never, one should never say never, but we won't be put in that position as Arjuna. That's a big challenge, you know. But we all have our challenges and our battles in life, and our minds just goes on this spin, and you know, we don't know what to do. We're all bewildered. We can't decide this or that, you know. So here is Arjuna. He's like this, you know. He's a warrior, you know. Krishna wants it to happen, but there's all these people that he knows, you know. So he's all like bewildered. He don't know what to do. He doesn't want to do it. So we're going to read text 7 in chapter 2 to start with. So this is Arjuna speaking to Krishna. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of weakness. In this condition, I'm asking you to tell me clearly what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul to surrender unto you. Please instruct me. So Arjuna come to this point, like he doesn't know what to do. His mind is whirling around, and he don't know where to go, left, right, up, down, what to do, what's the best, you know. So he here declares that I am now a disciple unto you. Please instruct me what to do. I'm confused. I lost composure due to weakness. So now you need to tell me clearly what to do. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna teaches that one needs to at some point come to this point where one seeks authority, the supreme authority. Yeah. And I will read a little bit about the purport here, so we can understand this a little bit better. So Arjuna was unable to solve his real problem without the help of a spiritual master, Lord Sri Krishna. He could understand that his so-called knowledge was useless in driving away his problems, which were drying up his whole existence. And it was impossible for him to solve such perplexities without the help of the spiritual master, like Lord Krishna. Academic knowledge, scholarship, high position, etc. are all useless in solving the problems of life. Help can only be given by the spiritual master, like Krishna. Therefore, the conclusion is that the spiritual master, who is 100% Krishna conscious, is a bona fide spiritual master, for he can solve the problems of life. So yeah, without a spiritual master, one cannot solve the real problems of life. Yeah, the real progressive life. What is the purpose of life? Who am I? What is my real position and function in life? Yeah. So you can't get this sort of knowledge by education, material education, some high position of some sort, scholarship is mentioned here. So many things. Yeah, we cannot get this sort of help in these places. So we need to seek out a spiritual master who is in direct line from Krishna and hear from him submissively. Yeah. So Arjuna here has taken this position. We know he's like all like, whoa, you know, he's spinning out, his head is exploding, he's spinning out, he don't know what to do. So, you know, life perplexities are very difficult, you know, and they're always there. They're there even when we don't want them to be there. It's always going to be perplexity, yeah. Everything is so entirely like difficult, yeah, and one gets perplexed, and we cannot solve these perplexities without the help of a real spiritual master. Here I just read another little, just take out a little snippet of the purport. By nature's own way, the complete system of material activities is a source of perplexity for everyone. So the complete system of material activities is a source of perplexity for everyone. That's just there. In every step there is perplexity. And therefore, it behooves one to approach a bona fide spiritual master who can give proper guidance for executing the purpose of life. So the purpose of life is not just a temporary aid we're looking for here, but actually for the purpose of life. Yeah. All Vedic literatures advise us to approach a bona fide spiritual master to get free from these perplexities, which happens in life without our desiring them. So these perplexities, they will happen even though we don't want them. Yeah, it's just part of the material existence. So it says here that in all Vedic literatures, it's stated, it gives this instruction that one must approach a bona fide spiritual master. So here in chapter 2, in the beginning, this is where Arjuna and Krishna is actually friends. They're lifelong friends, and they've had many encounters and activities together. But here things are going to change, because now Arjuna is approaching Krishna as spiritual master. So now their relationship is going to change a little bit, because Krishna, of course, he always gives everyone what they desire, so he's going to take the position of Arjuna's spiritual master and teach him. Okay, so that was text 7. So we're going to move on to text 11. The Blessed Lord said, so Krishna is telling Arjuna now, while speaking learned words, you are mourning of what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor the dead. So here Krishna have taken the position of Arjuna's spiritual master, and he's indirectly calling him a fool here. While you speak in learned words, because remember, Arjuna had all these arguments why not to fight, and they were based on principles of religion and authorities he've heard, etc. So he's speaking. So while he's speaking learned words, you're mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living or the dead. So we're going to now hear about the real position of the soul, and why we don't have to lament the living nor the dead. So yeah, Krishna is chastising Arjuna lightly. So that's the duty of the spiritual master, is to chastise the disciple, yeah, telling you're wrong, you don't see things clearly. This is how it is, yeah. We don't engage in those activities, yeah, that will lead you down the wrong path. Do this instead. So that is the position of the spiritual master, is to be very upfront with the disciple and just tell him clearly what to do, what to be done. So we're going to read a few verses here. Going to speak about the soul. So this is text 12. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. Yeah. So here we go. This is what first thing you need to understand about who you are. Krishna speaks very clearly here about the eternality of all of us. He says, never was there a time I did not exist. So Krishna says, I always existed. And said, nor you. So you, me, everyone, all these kings. And in the future, no one of us shall cease to be. So this is it, yeah. We are eternal. So this is the first thing we need to understand in spiritual knowledge, that we are eternal. And Krishna will go on to explain more about who we are. As the embodied soul continually passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. So here Krishna says, so we are eternal, and here's it, as the embodied soul. So we are, at the moment, we are embodied by these material bodies, this gross physical body, the mental body, and so on. So we are embodied. We are a soul in these bodies, and we continually passes in this body. We're born, we're little babies, and then we're little children, and then we're youth, and then we're adults, and then we're old people, and then finally we're dead. So the soul, while this change is taking place in the body, the soul just continually just are in there while this is happening. So I'm the same person when I'm a baby as when I'm in the old age body. Yeah, it's the same person. It just the body goes through these changes, but we stay the same. Yeah. The soul similarly passes into another body at death. Yeah, so when this body becomes useless, is too old, is too deceased, whatever, or you have a crash, it's too broken, you can't stay in it, then the soul passes into another body. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such change. So someone who knows this is not bewildered. Yeah, you know that. But if you don't know it, it's like, what? So yeah. Text 14, I think. Yep. O son of Kunti. So Arjuna was a son of Kunti. That was the name of his mother. The non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception. One must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So here Krishna says, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress. So in this life we experience happiness, we experience distress, and they're non-permanent. Krishna says they're non-permanent. We know that really well. We know that we always try to arrange things so we're happy, and they stay for some time, and then something happens that's out of our control, and we experience some distress, some pain. That goes on for some bit, but that is not permanent either. And then we experience happiness and distress, happiness. So this goes on, yeah. They're non-permanent. So happiness and distress in this world is non-permanent. It just comes and goes, yeah. Just comes and goes. Just like if Krishna is likening it to summer and winter season, they come and go. There's summer, there's winter, and summer and winter, yeah. The same with happiness and stress. They just come and go. They're not permanent. They arise from sense perception. So we experience these changes through our senses. Yeah, anyone can understand that, yeah? And one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. That's the big thing, yeah? One has to tolerate this coming and going, so happiness and distress, yeah? Then you can actually experience peace. You don't hold on and try to squeeze out every ounce of the happiness. You're not trying to run away from the stress. It's just, you just accept it. It comes and goes, non-permanent. So we're going to read text 17. Know that which pervades the entire body is indestructible. No one is able to destroy the imperishable soul. So this is a very, very wonderful text, and we will speak about it for some little bit, and then we'll finish after that. So know that which pervades the entire body is indestructible. So here Krishna hints that the soul actually pervades the entire body, and the soul is indestructible. So the soul never perishes, it never dies. When the body finishes, the soul doesn't finish. It's indestructible. So the soul is indestructible. It pervades the whole body. So how do we know? We know that it's consciousness through the whole body. Like you can feel pain in one part of the body and then another, or the whole body. You can feel pain in the whole body. So that's the consciousness of the spirit soul. It pervades the whole body. No one is able to destroy the imperishable soul. So it's impossible. You cannot, no one can destroy the soul. You can't kill it, you can't take it out, destroy it somehow. It's impossible. Krishna says here. So Krishna said that the soul is eternal, and here it says it's indestructible. So it never ceases. It will always exist. It's imperishable. So we're going to read some of the purport here. This verse more clearly explains the real nature of the soul. So here we will hear about the real nature of the soul. This is very important knowledge to understand, which is spread all over the body. Anyone can understand what is spread all over the body. It is the consciousness. Yeah, we spoke about that. It's a consciousness, right? Everyone is conscious of the pains and pleasures of the body in a part or a whole, or as a whole. This spreading of consciousness is limited within one's own body. That's right. I'm conscious of my body. I'm not conscious of your pleasure and pains of your body. Yeah, I'm just conscious of mine. You're conscious of yours. You're not conscious of anyone. You can't feel someone else's pain and pleasure. Yeah. So we are individuals. So here we can understand we are individuals. I am me. You are you. He is he. She is she. Yeah. We are all individuals. Therefore, each and every body is embodiment of an individual soul. Yeah, individual. We're individuals. We're never somebody else. We never become somebody else. We're not all the same. We are very different individual souls. So here we're going to hear about the size of the soul. This soul is described as 1/10,000th part of an upper portion of a hair point in size. So, okay, I'm going to take one hair. I don't know if you can see this. So, right up here, that's the point of the tip of a hair. So the size of the atomic spiritual spark that we are 10,000th of a part of this. You cut it in hundreds and then hundreds and then hundreds and hundreds. I don't know, I can't do maths like that because I just don't have that kind of head. But you have to cut that many parts, that tiny little thing. And that's what gives life to this body. That's who we are. That gives life to this body. That's why we're conscious. We feel pains and pleasures. We get moved here and there. We have all these things going on in this machine we're in because of that little part. Yeah. So I'm going to read a quote from the Bhagavatam. Quote, "There are innumerable particles of spiritual atoms which are measured as 1/10,000th of the upper portion of a hair." So there are innumerable particles like this. So we are many, you know, we can't even count. Innumerable, we can't count, you know. Therefore, the individual particle of spirit soul is a spiritual atom smaller than the material atoms, and such atoms are innumerable. So the spiritual atom is smaller than the material atom. Yeah, they're so small. This very small spiritual spark is a basic principle of the material body, and the influence of such spiritual spark is spread all over the body as the influence of the active principle of some medicine spreads throughout the body. Yes, we spoke about that. It's throughout the whole body. That little tiny spiritual spark that we are, the individual person. This current of spirit soul is felt all over the body as consciousness, and that the material body minus consciousness is a dead body, and this consciousness cannot be revived in the body by any means of material administration. So when the soul is moved on, when you left this body, there's no consciousness in the body anymore. I don't know if you've ever seen a dead body, but man, there's lights are out, nobody home, there's no life, nothing. No, there's not going to be any feeling in that body or any activity. It's just kaput. And here it says, and consciousness cannot be revived in the body by any means of material administration. So you can try to poke this thing, man, you can try to do whatever, put little fluids in, whatever, you know, try to get something going in that dead body which the soul have left. Nothing is going to happen, man. It's just, that's it. When the soul have left, there's no more life in that body. That little tiny little spark of spiritual energy is so powerful, so potent, and that's who we are. And when we are present in this temporary machine, this machine looks like it's alive, it moves around, do different stuff, feels things, desire, have emotions, all these things going on. As soon as the spirit soul leaves, we leave to another body, some other place, then that body is useless. Yeah, we can try all we want with our instruments and fluids and whatever. Psh, never. That body is done. It's going to decompose and look very terrible very soon, and it's going to go back into the dirt. So yeah, this is beginning of learning who we are, and there's more to it. So we learned we're eternal, we learned that we are the very life force in this body, and we learned that we're indestructible, we are imperishable. So this is the beginning. So we will learn more about the soul as we go along here. So there's a few more texts where Krishna speaks about the soul here in chapter 2, and we will discuss that with at some other point, not just now. Chapter 2 is called Contents of the Gita Summarized. So it's kind of summarized the whole Gita all in this. It's quite a big chapter. So yeah, I'm going to read something in the end here about this chapter, and it's by Srila Bhakti-Vinod Thakur, our great grandfather spiritual master. Srila Bhakti-Vinod Thakur has summarized this second chapter of the Bhagavad-gita as being the contents of the whole text. In the Bhagavad-gita, the subject matter are Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga. Jnana means knowledge, so that's what we are reading about, what Krishna is explaining right now. He's explaining Jnana Yoga, knowledge. You accumulate knowledge, so knowing about the soul, knowing your relationship, what is your natural function and your duty, what is who, you know, so the knowledge, yeah. So Jnana Yoga, that's what we've been reading just now, Jnana Yoga. And Bhakti Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga we will touch on towards the end of this chapter. In this second chapter, oh, we said that. Okay, in this second chapter, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga have been clearly discussed, and a glimpse of Bhakti Yoga has also been given as the contents for the complete text. Yeah. So as we go along, so I maybe do another couple of talks on chapter 2. So we will hear more of the Jnana Yoga, the knowledge, Shankaya philosophy, knowing, cultivating knowledge, spiritual knowledge. And then Krishna will explain briefly also about Karma Yoga, the fruits of action. And we'll speak a little bit about that. It's very interesting, and all these things are completely relevant to our lives. Yeah, I mean, this knowledge we learn here that we're the soul is so relevant. If you don't know who you are, how are you going to live a purposeful life? How are you going to know what to do, what not to do, what is right, what's wrong? How can you achieve happiness? We're all looking for happiness. How can you achieve happiness if you think you're the body? You live a life of a body. Yeah, you have to live a life of the soul. So these are very applicable teachings for everyone. You know, it doesn't matter where you live, what country, and what religion you follow, or what position in society you have, or any of these labels of the body, these things, yeah, nothing of that matter. This is for everyone, you know. We have to all understand this, and then we can come to the conclusion of Bhagavad-gita, which we will hear of later on, and we can live a very happy and purposeful life. So I thank you very much. I thank my spiritual master for teaching me Bhagavad-gita, and we will have a very short chant again to just finish off. And we pay our obeisances to Krishna and Arjuna, they enable us to hear the Bhagavad-gita. So I guess we'll do the same chant, yeah? Gopal and Govinda, it's easy. I have to remember which things I did. A minor, I think.